Welcome back to Soilsage Chronicles, fellow garden enthusiasts. Today I'm taking you on an incredible journey through what might just be the most inspiring vegetable garden I've ever had the privilege to tour. Picture this, 50 meticulously planned raised beds stretching across a backyard that's been transformed into a food production paradise. This isn't just gardening, this is food security in action, and I can't wait to share every detail with you. When I first walked into Sarah and Mike's backyard in suburban Colorado, I was absolutely speechless. What started as a typical lawn 5 years ago has evolved into a self-sustaining ecosystem that feeds their family of 6 year-round, with enough surplus to share with neighbors and local food banks. Their philosophy is simple yet profound. Never go hungry when you have soil and seeds. Let me tell you why this couple chose raised beds over traditional in-ground gardening, because their reasoning will revolutionize how you think about vegetable production. Sarah explained that raised beds gave them complete control over soil quality, which is absolutely crucial when you're trying to maximize yield in a limited space. Each of their beds measures 4 feet by 8 feet and stands 12 inches high, dimensions that aren't arbitrary. This width allows easy access from both sides without stepping on the soil, preventing compaction that can reduce yields by up to 30%. The length provides 32 square feet of growing space, which they've discovered is the sweet spot for managing different crop rotations effectively. The soil mixture they use is what really caught my attention. Instead of expensive bagged soil, they create their own blend using 1/3 compost, 1/3 peat moss or coconut coir, and 1/3 vermiculite. This creates the perfect balance of drainage, water retention, and nutrition that vegetables crave. Mike mentioned that this custom blend has reduced their watering needs by nearly 40% compared to their previous in-ground attempts. Walking through their garden feels like navigating a well-orchestrated symphony. The layout isn't random. Every bed placement serves multiple purposes. Taller crops like tomatoes, beans, and corn occupy the north side of the garden, ensuring they don't shade shorter plants. Meanwhile, leafy greens and root vegetables claim the southern exposure where they can bask in full sunlight. What impressed me most was their companion planting strategy spread across multiple beds. They've created themed zones, a Three Sisters section where corn, beans, and squash support each other's growth, a Mediterranean area featuring tomatoes, basil, and peppers, and a cool season zone dedicated to lettuce, spinach, and radishes that can handle light frost. The pathways between beds are covered with wood chips, which serve a dual purpose. They suppress weeds and over time gradually decompose, adding organic matter to the surrounding soil. Sarah mentioned that maintaining these pathways takes less than an hour per week, compared to the constant battle they used to have with grass and weeds. Here's where their system gets really clever. Instead of planting everything at once and facing feast or famine, they practice succession planting across their 50 beds. Every 2 weeks they plant a new bed of lettuce, radishes, and beans. This means they're harvesting fresh vegetables continuously rather than dealing with overwhelming gluts followed by empty periods. Mike showed me their planning notebook, which honestly looked like a military operation manual. They track planting dates, harvest times, and yield data for each bed. This information helps them refine their timing year after year. For instance, they discovered that planting lettuce every 10 days instead of 14 gives them the perfect amount for their family's consumption without waste. Their succession planting, goes way beyond just those quick-growing crops. They stagger tomato plantings by about 3 weeks, which means they get ripe tomatoes from July all the way through October. And, well, bean plantings happen every single month, from April through August, so there's always fresh beans for eating and honestly, plenty for preserving too. What really sets this garden apart is their commitment to 4-season growing. Even in Colorado's challenging climate, they managed to keep fresh vegetable production going all winter long by using some pretty clever season extension techniques. Row covers made from lightweight fabric protect crops from those unexpected frosts but still let sunlight and water in. These covers actually can extend the growing season by 4 to 6 weeks on both ends. basically giving them a longer growing season than gardeners in zones 1 level warmer. For winter production, they've installed low tunnels over selected beds. These mini greenhouses, constructed from PVC pipes and clear plastic sheeting, create microclimates that can be 10 to 15 degrees warmer than outside temperatures. Under these tunnels, they grow cold, hardy vegetables like kale, Brussels sprouts, and winter radishes. Sarah's enthusiasm was infectious as she explained their winter salad production. People think fresh salads in January are impossible here, but we're eating garden-fresh greens every single day, she said, harvesting a beautiful mix of winter lettuces that looked better than anything I've seen in grocery stores. With 50 beds to maintain, hand watering would be impossible. Their drip irrigation system is a masterpiece of efficiency and simplicity. Each bed has its own zone controlled by a timer, allowing them to customize watering schedules based on specific crop needs. The system uses recycled plastic bottles as reservoirs for individual plants, ensuring deep, slow watering that encourages strong root development. Mike calculated that their drip system uses 60% less water than overhead sprinklers while delivering better results. Rainwater collection amplifies their water efficiency. 3 large barrels connected to their house gutters provide backup irrigation during dry spells. The elevated barrels create enough pressure to run the drip system without electricity, making their garden more resilient and sustainable. Instead of reaching for chemical solutions, this garden operates on biological pest control principles. Beneficial insects have permanent homes in strategically placed native plants scattered throughout the beds. Ladybugs, lacewings, and predatory wasps patrol the vegetables, keeping harmful pest populations in check. Companion planting serves double duty here. Marigolds aren't just pretty additions. They repel aphids and nematodes. Nasturtiums act as trap crops, luring cucumber beetles away from valuable squash plants. Herbs like basil, rosemary, and thyme create aromatic barriers that confuse pest insects while providing fresh seasonings for the kitchen. Their approach to larger pests is equally clever. Row covers protect young plants during vulnerable stages, while beneficial nematodes in the soil control grubs and other soil-dwelling pests. They've eliminated the need for harmful pesticides while maintaining healthy, productive plants. The secret to their incredible yields lies in their obsession with soil health. Each bed receives a fresh layer of compost twice per year, maintaining the organic matter levels that feed beneficial soil microorganisms. These invisible helpers break down nutrients into forms plants can easily absorb. Cover crops play a crucial role in their system. After harvesting summer vegetables, they plant crimson clover or winter rye in empty beds. These cover crops prevent soil erosion, suppress weeds, and fix nitrogen from the air into the soil. In spring, they simply cut the cover crops and plant directly into the rich living soil. Mike's composting system deserves its own article. 3 large bins in continuous rotation transform kitchen scraps, grass clippings, and fallen leaves into black gold that feeds their garden. They've calculated that composting reduces their household waste by 40% while providing all the soil amendments their garden needs. Let's talk about the impressive production numbers, because they're absolutely mind-blowing. Last year, this 50-bed garden produced over 2,000 pounds of fresh vegetables. That's enough to feed their family of 6 with vegetables for the entire year, plus substantial surplus for preservation and sharing. Their detailed record-keeping shows that each 32-square-foot bed averages 40 pounds of produce annually. Compare that to the average American's consumption of 410 pounds of vegetables per year, and you can see how, a relatively small space can make a massive impact on food security. The financial benefits are equally impressive. Mike estimates they save $3,500 annually on grocery bills while eating higher quality, more nutritious vegetables than anything available in stores. Factor in the preservation of surplus crops through freezing, canning, and dehydrating, and honestly, their savings extend year-round. Walking through this incredible garden taught me lessons that apply whether you have 50 beds or just a few containers on a balcony. Success comes from understanding your plant's needs, planning strategically, and maintaining soil health above all else. So, here's the thing. Start small and expand gradually. Sarah and Mike, for example, began with just 4 beds and added more as they gained experience and confidence. This approach, honestly, allowed them to refine their techniques without becoming overwhelmed. You know, it's really important to keep detailed records of what works and what doesn't in your specific climate and conditions. Their notebook system might seem, well, a bit excessive at first, but honestly, it's the foundation of their continued improvement and success. Most importantly, try to view your garden as an ecosystem rather than just a collection of plants. Everything interconnects. Soil health affects plant health, which influences pest populations, which in turn impacts yields. And when you work with these natural relationships instead of against them, gardening becomes way more productive and, honestly, a whole lot more enjoyable. This 50-bed vegetable garden really proves that food security is achievable for anyone willing to plan strategically and work consistently. Whether you're inspired to create your own raised bed paradise or just want to improve your existing garden, the principles demonstrated here will definitely serve you well. So, are you ready to transform your own growing space into a food production powerhouse? Subscribe to Soilsage Chronicles for more in-depth garden tours, practical growing tips, and inspiration from fellow gardeners who are proving that amazing harvests are possible anywhere. And hey, share this article with gardening friends who need to see what's possible when passion meets planning. Your future self and your dinner table will thank you for taking action today.